Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, a Star Trek podcast. We are on episode 36 today.
Woo!
Does this episode deserve a woo?
I'm sorry.
Woo!
I'm very sorry about what's about to happen for the rest of this episode. I, of course, am Ames.
I naturally am Caitlin.
I indubitably am Jake.
And I, unfortunately, am Chris.
Oh.
Way to go, way to go. So today we are talking about the original series episodes, Whom Gods Destroy. Great. And Let That Be Your Last Battlefield. Even worse. Huzzah! Strap in. This is going to be a death coaster to fucking hell.
Just like ripping off a Band-Aid. Let's do it.
Yep. I'm going to synopsize as quickly as I can. Whom Gods Destroy. Basically a rehash of Dagger of the Mind, because why the fuck not? We're visiting Elba 2 to deliver the medication for inmates of a criminally insane facility headed by Donald Corey. The Enterprise gets there. The surface of the planet is poisonous, which is pretty good because it makes sure the inmates don't escape because they're all fucking criminal maniacs. We go down, we meet Dr. Corey, and almost immediately realize, as with any facility director of a mental asylum, he is not actually the facility director of the mental asylum. He's actually one of the crazy people in disguise. He's actually Garth of Izar, who is a former starship captain. Let me see if I can recap who he is quickly, because he has a complicated story I can't figure out. He was injured somehow, and was recovered with help from the people of Antos 4, who healed him and gave him some kind of shape-shifting power somehow. I don't know if this came before or after, but Garth went crazy and asked his starship to blow the shit out of Antos 4, even though they saved him, or they saved him after. I lost track.
It was after he saved them. He asked them to help him destroy something or do something, and they were like, well, no, and he was like, then fuck these guys.
Yeah, and also he's fucking crazy, so he
He
got...
was like a war hero, too.
Yeah, he's one of Kirk's heroes, because all of Kirk's heroes have gone fucking crazy.
Yes.
Kirk, pick your idols better. God, man. So he's in this mental asylum, only he, using his shapeshifter power, has taken over, has locked the actual Dr. Corey in a cell, and is trying, now that Kirk is here, to get control of the Enterprise so that he can use his power to take over the universe, or something, I guess.
That is his new explosive.
Well,
Yeah, he's a super explosive that he somehow invented while inside a mental asylum.
Turns out it's Pop Rocks and Coke, because that's what it looks like.
I bet it was. So, we're treated to a nice dinner with Garth and all the inmates who are basically being, the lackeys of Garth.
He did a cool wheelbarrow maneuver.
No, he didn't. We watched way too much of Marta, the Orion Green Lady, doing a sexy as in really harsh air quotes, dance thing.
I was torqued.
Yeah.
Apparently it's a lot like the dancing that Vulcan children do for some reason. Which
Apparently
Vulcan
Vulcan children are all exotic dancers.
That's before their emotions get wiped, right?
Yeah.
The Orion girl tries to come on to Kirk, does some kissing thing, but she's fucking crazy, so she has to kill him. So she grabs her pillow knife, which is there because of course it is, and tries to kill him. She doesn't. Spock walks in. Turns out it's not Spock. He's been trying, because it's Garth, of course, and he's been trying to get the password to get himself onto the Enterprise.
Well, yeah, that whole thing was clearly a ruse set up by Garth. Oh, yeah, because, you missed the part of, why Garth can't just impersonate Kirk and beam up.
Because for once in their entire life, they decided to set a password for actually using the transporter. Queen 3.
And somehow the password isn't Kirk is awesome? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, the password to beam up to the Enterprise is harder than the password to blow up the Enterprise.
No shit, right?
All right, so Spock turns up, pinches Green Lady out. Turns out not to be Spock. And then actual Spock breaks out of his cell by doing a double Vulcan nerve pinch on 2 guys.
While playing dead.
Whilst playing dead.
Pretty badass.
Well, playing passed out at least.
Passed out, yeah.
Walks in with a gun, and Garth takes on the form of Kirk. So there's 2 Kirks in the room. Which one do you shoot, Kirk or Spock?
Both.
You should shoot both. That
You've
would
got a
make
gun
sense.
that has a stun setting.
Yeah, you should stun both, or you should ask one of them a more personal question, like, what's Bones' middle name or something.
What does my dick look like? You've seen it.
It's pointy. And when the real Kirk expresses that, for the good of the Enterprise, you have to blah, 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 he realizes, that's the one, because only Kirk would actually really thinking of the actual Enterprise. Stuns Garth. They all take control of the asylum again. They give all the inmates the medication they need, and they put Garth in the Tantalus chair, basically, and save his brain from insanity, something. I don't know. End of episode.
I mean, Garth did blow up Marta. Like,
Yeah.
But see, he doesn't remember any of that, so
That's
it's
true.
okay.
So does it count?
but like that was pretty. That
So
was
did it
pretty.
happen?
That was pretty cold, though.
It was.
just like blowing her up.
Yeah.
Well, he's used to blowing up his girlfriends. Cha-cha.
Yeah.
Something about blow-up dolls.
Yep.
Anyway,
He's a lonely man.
Meanwhile,
best episode of the series coming up.
let that be your last battlefield. I hope it is. We are on the way to Arianus, a planet with a polluted atmosphere that the Enterprise has to come and decontaminate.
Like Arianus.
Yeah, you're very right.
I was thinking that also.
This episode was anus.
Meanwhile,
That's
we
insulting
see-
to anus. Sorry. Ames.
Oof. We find just scooting along in front of us is a shuttlecraft that has been stolen recently from Starbase 4 or some shit.
It's got a low jack.
And Chris said, "Oh, it looks like a shuttlecraft." And then Chekhov said, "It looks like a shuttlecraft."
Well done,
And
Chris.
Starfleet shuttlecraft.
A Starfleet shuttlecraft.
And it is. And it's being controlled by Lokai, who they tractor beam aboard because he's running out of air in the shuttlecraft or something. They take him out, they cure him up, and they're figuring out, like, his face is fucking weird. Half of his face is, like, blank paper white. Half of his face is, like, ink black.
Shoe polish galore.
I can only assume it goes all the way down, but he's also, I think they were wearing gloves.
Yeah, they both had gloves.
They were wearing gloves, they were wearing very revealing jumpsuits.
Oh my.
Oh,
God,
Lordy.
you think that's half black and half white as well?
The dick?
It's gotta
Obviously.
be.
Yeah.
That'd be so weird.
But you know what?
And the nutsack.
But here's the unifying thing. No matter what side of you is black and which side is white, your asshole is still pink.
That seems legit. What about the nipples?
Why is it always with the nipples?
Because I'm curious. Because nipple color variation is like, it depends on your skin tone.
Maybe it's like a yin yang. Like you have a white nipple on your black half and a black nipple on your white half.
All right,
be
let me
hot. I'm
finish
into
the
it.
synopsis and then we can make fun of
Anyway.
everything. Soon after, we've got Lokai in sick bay. A weird, invisible ship, invisible because we don't have the budget anymore, because it's season 3, appears on the screen somehow. Well, it doesn't, because it's invisible. It implodes itself, or something happens, it goes away.
It disintegrates.
And its driver, pilot, person thing, Beale, transports himself aboard. He is another half-faced, two-tone kind of guy, only his colors are on the other side.
Bum, bum, bum!
He's black on the right.
And it turns out he is some kind of slave chaser or something on a mission to retrieve the political traitor Lokai.
Caitlin put it best. He was Javert.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, from Les
Les
Miserables.
Miserables.
Oh, I've never seen.
Well, Javert is like obsessed with tracking down this
One
criminal who like gets out of jail and like completely turns his life around, and Javert's like, I know, I recognize that guy, and he like wants to catch him, and he's a fucking crazy asshole. So that's
Fantastic.
That's Frank Gershon in this. Gershon? Is that his name?
The Joker.
No,
the Riddler.
I was gonna say that's Caesar
Romero.
Romero.
Yeah, I think it's Gershon.
Gershon, right? Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah,
Anyway,
he's
yeah.
very Javert-esque.
Yeah, so Beale has been chasing Lokai for 50,000 years, apparently. They're very long-lived, I guess. And he's trying to coordinate with Kirk, like, I have to, take him into custody, bring him back to our planet Charon, which is in the southern hemisphere, or the what are they?
Southernmost part of the galaxy.
Yeah,
I believe.
the southernmost part of the galaxy. Wow.
Uncharted southernmost part of the galaxy, but they've heard of a planet there.
How do we know it's uncharted?
They say it.
Oh, okay.
They
Yeah,
say
I was
it's
gonna say, I don't
Uncharted,
remember them saying that. But...
even though they mention that it... Anyway.
Is that thunder?
Yeah.
It's very appropriate for this episode too, because it's impending doom.
It's stealing our show's thunder, just like this episode's.
Well, I'm going to wrap up my synopsis with they talk way too long about whether or not they should bring Lokai back to Charon. They finish doing the contamination thing. Beale tries to take control of the Enterprise, only for Kirk to start an auto-destruct sequence.
Which took 15 minutes.
To call Beale knows not to call Kirk's bluff, so he lets them go back to go to Arianis, do the decon, and then he takes control of it again, but turns off auto-destruct because he's smart. Brings everybody to Charon, has a lot more whining and talking over drinks with folk. They get to Charon. It's a fucking wasteland. Obviously, the people of the planet have destroyed themselves. Spock can tell by looking at it that there are corpses everywhere from both sides. After a very, very long chase sequence around the halls, interspliced with, photos of destruction, Lokai and Beale transport themselves, because they left the transporter room open again.
And on
and unmanned, down to the surface where they'll chase each other around for an infinite time until fuck it.
Yep.
That was awful, guys.
Is it just me, or is Arianus sound like a way a British person would say Harrianus? That was for you, Jake. Wow.
All right. Well, Whom Gods Destroy looking better in comparison.
So
I still didn't like it.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if Whom Gods Destroy was actually good, but I just loved it because the guy who played Lord Garth,
he was good.
Was so, he was just alright, so I'm playing a complete fucking wackadoo, and he just ran with it. He was just this grandiose, big-talking, tantrum-throwing loony, although the best tantrum goes to Shatner playing Garth playing Kirk, but
best
still.
in air quotes.
Oh, that was amazing. Shatner was
great.
that.
Those great console punches.
Oh, and then just collapses to his knees and punches the ground.
Yeah.
He was very
that was
upset.
funny.
Garth's actor was great. He was just
the actor was great.
Ridiculous.
I feel like the character is hard because it's very tough with a character that you can say, oh, but he's crazy.
Well, especially, this was clearly 60s television understanding of crazy.
Yeah, which isn't any understanding at all.
Yeah,
which is, they just run around doing whoop, 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 whoop.
Yeah, and they're all criminally insane.
They're just the Stooges.
That's the Three Stooges you're thinking of, Ames.
They're crazy too.
But he was clearly crazy because he tried to destroy all of the planet. But what the hell did anybody else there do to be crazy?
Marta apparently killed all her lovers.
So she's just horrible.
She's a praying mantis.
But
she's
no, they didn't get into what everyone else did.
Well, you know how Tellarites are.
It's true.
Wow. Racist.
Yeah.
Although the Tellarite in this one, it was weird. They sort of tried to improve on the earlier makeup because he still had sort of the pig nose, but he didn't have the horrible hollow eyes.
That looked a lot better.
So that was.
And we had an Andorian.
Yep, with the world's best boa cloak.
Yeah, that was very nice.
Yeah,
you like the costumes in this one.
Oh my god! Well, the costumes Garth's whole outfit was
Garth looked good.
Amazing.
I loved his swagger too, wearing that big cloak
and the mismatched boots.
Yeah,
they somehow
good
worked.
Touch.
The Tellarite had the great boa cloak and those wonderful plaid pants. Although I realized a couple other characters had the sort of green and blue plaid, so I think the implication was probably supposed to be before they took over. Green and blue plaid was the prisoner uniform or something, because a few of them had it. But it was never explicitly stated.
Marta looked banging in her bathing suit thing.
Marta was a terrible thing, though. I can't tell if it was the actor or just the character was absurdly done.
I'm going to go with both. The acting was not very strong. The dancing was not very strong. But the tit game was A+. And I'm pretty sure
the makeup was better, too.
Yeah, the makeup was
quite
quite
good. Job with the makeup. And it didn't rub off. It was better than the Klingon makeup. Which...
A little bit actually was visible on Kirk's knuckles at one point.
Oh, really?
Was it really?
But very
Wait, why was it on the knuckles?
Because
I have
only
no
after
idea.
he punched her in the face 6 times. I don't think there was any green in her fist holes.
You don't know
Jake.
about that.
What I actually really liked about her makeup, aside from just the fact that the green was like nice and even, was she had this great like gold shiny
eyeshadow
gold
thing.
highlight like right under her brow. I fucking loved that. Her eyebrows, I should say.
That's pretty cool.
I loved that. It was very attractive.
But yeah, to jump to the end.
Good idea.
We can go back afterwards, but like...
Yeah, Ames is done.
They tried to have the classic, like, oh god, which one do I shoot? But when you exist in a world where guns have a knockout setting,
Yes.
there is no reason to have that tension.
You know what?
Just shoot
It probably still
both of them.
hurts.
I'm sure Kirk's okay with being hurt.
Well, the fact that
for the sake
Kirk
of...
even says,
Yeah.
shoot us both
But how were they
for
sure?
the sake of the Enterprise.
How were they sure that knocking him out would make him revert back?
Well, it doesn't matter. If they're both knocked out, you just put them both
Yeah, you
in...
knock him out,
Yeah.
and then you call up Scotty, tell him King to Rook 6,
Whatever.
King to Queen's level 1.
Whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, it was
Strap them both down in sickbay. I'm sure Doc can scan them and figure out which is which if he has to.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess. I mean, they're both people.
Also, let's be honest, it got really obvious before Kirk even said, just shoot us both! When Garth Kirk was holding up a chair screaming. It's like, okay, that's obviously not Kirk.
Well,
I
Spock
think Kirk
said
would
he,
do that.
Spock even
not quite
said,
so crazy, though.
Spock said that he knew for longer than he had let on. He was just verifying.
Yeah.
He was just letting his captain get beaten the shit out of a little
it's
in
not
some
theirs,
pretty
don't give a
in some
fuck.
pretty terrible fight.
Oh, that
Yeah.
fight was awful.
Well, you know what? Part of why it was so
It's
bad
trying to
is
hide
'cause-
his face.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
had to like make sure that. I mean, even actually when you could sort of see some face, it was like pretty well enough done that it was like, all right, I don't hate it.
Especially if, old 60s TV. kind
We
of-
always say this.
It probably would have been even better. That's right, though, considering they did do a pretty good job this time.
Can we just agree that this is the week of Batman villains? Because in one case we have the actual Riddler
Playing Two-Face.
playing Two-Face, and in this episode we have not the actor, but we have the Joker. Like, this guy is...
His mismatched boots are even purple and green now that I think of it.
They were
Yeah.
blue and green.
Were they?
Well, and regardless, it was a very Arkham Asylum feeling
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I think you even commented like when he and Marta were hanging out. It's like, wow, they're
Yeah.
basically Harley
and Joker.
Just
Yeah.
30 years too early.
Still a better romance than Twilight.
And then the Joker sends her outside into the poison atmosphere and
He would
blows
do
The
her
thing
up.
is, that's exactly what the Joker would do. Even
Yeah.
blowing her up, the Joker would do that, in my opinion.
he's
Like, he
probably
doesn't
would.
give
He's a monster.
half of a rat's fuck about Harley, which is
Yeah,
why
no.
it's so sad. Which is why the kids, and I'm sure the kids are not listening to our show, but if the kids are listening, don't want a romance like Harley and Joker.
You want a romance like Harley and Ivy.
Yeah.
You want a romance like...
Thelma and Louise.
Yes. I don't know much about Harley Quinn.
She is...
Sexy as shit.
She's a psychiatrist?
Probably a psychiatrist. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
She's a
shrink,
psychological professional.
and she works with. She is the Joker's.
Yeah, she winds up herself with a psychotic obsession with the Joker, and then willingly becomes his sidekick as a result.
She has 2 pet hyenas.
At least in the cartoon.
That's pretty sweet.
Well, that's where she got her start.
No, I know. I just mean I don't know if the hyenas carried over into the
Oh, I have
comics.
no idea.
All I know is she's played by the girl from The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
You're talking about Suicide Squad now? Is that what you mean?
That's the movie that she was in, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see the movie.
I didn't see
saw
it
the
either. It
ads.
just looked terrible.
Yeah.
And apparently Jared Leto
He's a
took it upon
psychopath,
himself
yeah.
to put used condoms in the beds of his co-stars and put dead animals in their
He thought he was being
trailers
method,
and
he was
stuff.
being a dingbat.
Why don't people understand what method means?
I don't fucking know. Anyway.
Anyway, here's a question.
Yes.
So Garth disguises himself as Spock, goes in to where Marta's putting a move on Kirk, and Vulcan nerve pinches her out.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Well, she could have just been faking
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
Presumably
I think the whole thing was a
She's
setup.
too crazy, I think, and I don't think it was a setup because I think that the setup was her getting in to see Kirk to begin with, so she could go crazy and kill him because she's a crazy person.
Yeah, it's a yeah.
No.
I think
it's a maneuver. I think that anyone that...
a Corbomite maneuver.
Well, yes. I just mean that, because I feel like Kirk has said at one point, you'll have to teach me how to do that or something. So I feel like you probably
Picard
can
do
learn it.
Picard can do it.
Yeah, it is. There
Really?
other times it is learnable by other species.
Although, to be fair, I think he can only do it after he mind melds with Sarek. I don't know if he... I think he,
I
I mean,
feel like
keep
it
in
can't
mind-
be something that human beings can do. Otherwise, someone would have Khan would have figured it out. And also, I feel like if Vulcans have, like, super strong
Strength, that's
pinchy
what I was
fingers or
thinking.
something,
Yeah.
maybe that's the key.
Yeah, well, if you do one of those, those
those
crunchy
hand-
things that give you that I've never understood why those exist at all.
It's for the forearms.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Does it make your fingers stronger too, though?
I don't think so.
You
I
have
don't
jacked little fingers.
The thing is, there is actually a nerve bundle right in that general area that, honestly, I've had someone do it to me.
Is it on both sides of the neck?
I don't know, honestly, but if they
It must be,
jab
because
you...
that's how Spock did it.
There we go. If they jab you in that little bundle, you just collapse. Like, your knees just go. You have no...
Really?
You just can't. They
Are
just...
you making it up?
No! Hand to God. A friend of mine knew how to do it. He did it once.
Jabbed you in it? And
Yeah.
you collapsed?
To you?
Yeah, well, willingly.
Do I know them?
No, you never met him.
Oh my god.
I volunteered for it. He's like, it's
You
this
don't know him
thing.
because Chris killed him afterwards.
But,
That sounds
but yeah, no, you're like, you
He
don't go
always kills his
unconscious, but
lovers.
your knees just go. It's crazy.
I'm willing to bet, though, that Marta did know what's his name was planning.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's a little... The problem is because of the way she was written and played, it's really vague.
Yeah, I don't know if she was in on anything, because they also kill her off at the end.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing she wasn't in on that part of the plan.
I mean, at the very least, Garth knew how to work with her madness if it wasn't aligned.
which again, that feels pretty jokery too.
True.
Because he's very manipulative. Of
Yeah,
her.
no, he's a bastard.
But Spock's dual neck pinch.
That was
Pretty
cool.
Slick.
It's pretty
Yeah,
epic. I
good
liked
move,
it.
buddy.
I was gonna say too, the thing with Garth that we're forgetting too is this is a man that apparently learned how to shapeshift.
And not only, because it sounds like
Which-
they taught him how to like repair damage cells, and then he took that
Somehow-
to the next level into
yeah.
shapeshiftery.
Yeah, so I mean,
And it must do the voice, too.
yeah, so I mean, there's all kinds of issues really happening with Garth if you get right down to it.
And the thing is, to be a good shapeshifter, you also have to be a really good actor. Because, when he's acting like Spock, he's carries himself and talks like Spock. And when he does the same, like Kirk and anybody else.
Ames, that's because it's still Leonard Nimoy and Shatner playing Spock and Kirk.
Are you joking, Caitlin?
They made prosthetics for that actor to wear.
Well, no, I mean, it's not Nimoy, acting a little different or saying words that he wouldn't necessarily say.
Right.
And then, like,
I'm just kidding, but I agree. I'm not trying to trivialize
Listen,
your
Trivialize?
Trivialize.
I'm not trying to trivialize your point. I agree that's a good point.
You know what it really comes down to is actually they were originally going to have them do that, but they realized while Nimoy could do subtle differences in Spock, there was no such thing as a subtle variation from Shatner. He's either Kirk or evil Kirk, and that's it.
Him freaking out
Yeah,
and
his
punching
little-
consoles
his-
isn't even necessarily a tell that it's not the real Kirk.
No,
His little tantrum. I did like his little
That was
tantrum.
amazing.
It was,
That was
something.
amazing. So yeah, how the fuck did Garth invent the universe's greatest explosive in a nut house?
Pop rocks and coke.
Yeah, he's a genius. That's how.
Like, seriously, like, what the fuck are they giving them in the arts and crafts room
He
here?
shapeshifted some
I don't know.
macaroni into...
I have a theory
Plutonium.
that he didn't actually invent the world's greatest explosive. I bet you that he just had some explosive that he used to blow up Marta for a demonstration, and then whatever was in that vial was just nothing.
It was just
Carbonite.
unpopped.
That's why he felt. That's why he was able to just like toss it to the other guys, like whoa.
Yeah, that was silly.
But, like it was a bluff.
Although I feel like they did have sort of an offhand comment on the Enterprise after the explosion, being like, what the fuck was that? Like, they didn't...
Yeah.
It was somehow an unusual blast.
Yeah, but I'm sure any blast on the surface would be considered unusual.
Speaking of everybody up on the Enterprise, how fucking pointless were they?
So pointless.
So
But hey, we
pointless.
got
It was-
some Doc at least.
Yeah, it's the only way Doc was important this episode is he was up talking with Scotty, be like, well, let's try blasting a hole in it. Doesn't work? Okay.
What if we blast a hole over there? Although nothing really came of
What
that.
if we just get blasted? Alright.
Yeah, really. Really, who left Doc and Scotty alone with each other in the ship? They get back and they've gone on like all kinds of warp-powered beer runs. Fucking bridges covered in cans and bottles.
Yeah, they figure out that there's a problem with the password thing. And they should fucking use the password thing all the time.
Yeah, that should just be SOP.
I suppose they're probably doing it because they knew that there were dangerous criminals there, but at
did
the same
know
time,
that-
they didn't know there was
they
going to
were-
be a shapeshifter.
Yeah, exactly. Did they know they were going to be shape-shifting?
I mean, they could
aliens?
also be making him do it under duress.
Yeah, that was probably what the point was just like if somehow there's a hostage type situation.
It just seems very convenient. Like of all the dangerous missions they've gone,
They
on,
happened.
This is
yeah.
the one where they have a secret password.
Maybe something happened just like the day before, like, oh god, something horrible happened. From now on, we're doing this.
I mean, that's sort of the James Bond criticism, is like, Q always gives Bond stuff he's going to need on
the exact same stuff.
Yeah. As Eddie Izzard puts it, he never comes back from a mission being like, a bunch of shit I didn't use. These jam trousers, what was the point?
Yeah.
Trousers.
But yeah, it's that issue.
Even the built-in... that thing, whatever the fuck that thing's called. You know the thing I mean. In Casino Royale.
Oh, the defibrillator built in the Aston Martin.
Even the defibrillator came in handy. Thank God. Everybody's Aston Martin should come with a defibrillator, really.
Well, actually, with that is an upgrade you can get.
I doubt it.
Probably, but
And a longer penis.
Oh.
Well, I mean, the Aston itself is a metaphorical larger penis.
Oh, Whitey doesn't like the thunder outside.
Poor baby.
He's very wide-eyed in the second when it just happened. He's like, oh,
What was that?
Aw.
yeah, man, this was an episode, all right.
It certainly
there wasn't a lot of plot. So
well,
if
it
you
was
weren't-
Dagger of the Mind Part 2. Because they
Yeah.
even bring out the Tantalus chair. They
Yeah.
just have some new strapped-on headgear for it.
Yep.
Apparently, Nimoy gave this episode a lot of criticism because it's so similar to Dagger of the Mind.
Yeah.
And it didn't used to have that fight at the end, but they added it in for the action.
Oh,
the
Jesus.
Kirk v. Kirk fight.
Man, they should have saved that fight and its action for the next episode.
I don't even know.
Shit, it needed something.
There was nothing to
No,
fucking
actually,
save
there
that
was a
episode.
fight in that episode. 2 of them.
They were
It was
shit.
horrible.
They stood there and things went negative.
We don't actually have to move on yet if
Well,
anybody's
I'm-
ready. But I
No,
feel
I'm
like
done.
I feel like it was another episode where it was a case of it's very surface. Like there's not.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean it's like the episode you said. It's that Edgar Allan Poe short story where the crazy the inmates take over this asylum. It's like a totally
I mean, the
tired
thing
thing. There's nothing new there.
is, if you weren't amused by, say, Garth and his antics like I was, there's nothing there for you. There's no story. It's just watch this guy be a weirdo. And for me, it was...
Hiding under you.
I know it was a good episode, but I found it entertaining.
That's fair.
At the very least, because I found Garth amusing. But I can acknowledge that there really wasn't much going on. And that
Yeah,
their
I feel
understanding of mental illness was non-existent.
Everyone just be fucking silly. Barta, play with your fucking dress. And, fawn all over Garth.
Creepily, rub all over Garth while making the dumbest faces I've ever seen. I was like, you are not... What direction did they give you? Because I just feel like if they gave her, trying to be sexy, but still crazy. I don't know. I just...
Like an Orion. Yeah.
It just... I don't know. I was not
I will
impressed.
say about Let That Be Your Last Battlefield as well. Makeup was pretty good in this one, too.
That's true.
Yeah.
We had some
down,
good makeup
yeah.
this week.
straight down the middle. And like you said, in particular, Frank Gorshin...
Yeah.
The,
they got the makeup all the way to the hairline. And I didn't even
Yeah.
see where his actual scalp began.
They did a really good job with that. It's the only thing about this episode that was good. This episode, it's another that I feel like is sort of one of the known ones, but it is hot fucking garbage.
I think it's known because... Well, I think it's known because it's so blatantly about racism and slavery and this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe
And people recognize the half-face guys
yeah,
immediately.
and maybe it was more revolutionary in the '60s, but my God, it's both hitting you over the head and also it seems in some ways such a shitty understanding of it, even while it tries to talk about it.
You know
I
what's
don't know.
fabulous?
Oh God.
Apparently the look of the aliens was decided only a week before filming.
Oh,
Nice.
Because originally, the original treatment had them, that Gene Kuhn wrote, and Gene Kuhn used his pen name, I think, again, was for Beale to look like a devil, and Loki to look like an angel. And then the
I much prefer this.
Yeah.
I much prefer this stars upon thars approach that we have, because to the casual observer they don't look that different.
right, yeah.
It's
If
like,
one
what's
of
your
them had a
problem? You're
tail,
basically
there'd
the
be a
same.
difference.
What a fucking Jesus
So
Christ.
is this a Palestinian-Israel thing? Is that what this is about?
What?
The episode?
Let that be your last battlefield?
Yeah.
I thought just
It's
racism in general.
Yeah.
Well, it was the 60s, right? So we're talking like
I mean, no, but I mean, it was more.
times
It was.
and-
I mean, because there was explicitly the fact that one side had been enslaved by the other, and
But,
now they've been freed, but the rights are still not quite equal. It just does seem to be doing the whole black-white thing in America.
but Here's my conspiracy theory. What were the name of the planets? So the planet that they had
Sharon.
to... No, that's the planet where they... What's the name of the other?
Arianus, wasn't it?
Arianus Sharon. Arianus Sharon. Ariel Sharon, Prime Minister, former Prime Minister, dead now, but former Prime Minister of Israel.
He was
Really?
5 at the time?
No, he was in World War II. He was born in the 20s.
Was he? Yeah. Way older
Wait,
than I
really?
thought.
Did you come up with this yourself?
No, Ariel Sharon was...
No, I'm saying the theory. Did you come up with this theory on your own?
Yeah, because I was thinking of the Sharon. They kept saying Sharon. I kept thinking of Ariel Sharon.
How do you spell that version of Sharon?
I think like
Sharon.
Like the name Sharon.
Yeah, on Memory Alpha, the spelling of the planet is Cheron.
My Sharona.
There you go.
Do.
Well, yeah, I think like Loki's whole because he turns into an inspirational speaker apparently halfway through the episode and starts trying to sway everyone in the Enterprise crew to his side. There was a line that he said that what sounds like Chekhov, even though we don't see Chekhov, because I'm sure they just couldn't afford to make up Loki again, so they did it all in silhouette.
Yeah.
Chekhov says, "Oh, there was persecution on Earth once." And
But
like,
not since the 20th
guys.
century.
Oh, why did I think that was... I
Guys.
thought Sulu said that.
No, it was Chekhov. Well, it was Chekhov, and then they zoomed in on the room, and Chekhov wasn't in the room.
He was in the corner hiding.
Yeah.
It just
Throwing his-
I don't
he was working
actually
on his
think
ventriloquism.
I don't actually think the
Sorry.
episode has anything to do with Israel. I was just
Ventriloquism.
making a joke.
Yeah, no, the other problem, too, is it wanted to sort of try to make a statement that radicalized reaction against racism was bad, but because the episode was written so badly, it just sort of came off as both racists and anti-racists are equally bad, and that's a stupid message.
Yeah.
It's also so heavy-handed.
Yeah, no, it's so unsubtle in a way that I just can't deal with.
I would argue that they were making the issue too black and white.
God, still better than anything from this fucking episode.
Well, thank you. I tried.
It just it was so just. This is the most padding-heavy episode we've had from this show.
What was the padding? There was no padding.
Everything! The whole episode was
pants?
padding.
Do you mean in their pants?
Like,
Yes.
because
They did have
the
large
whole thing,
bulges.
the whole
Lots
fucking
of
B
balls.
plot with going to fucking crop dust a planet with a starship was even just there, so
It
for
could take some
unearned
time.
tension, yeah. So they
Well, it was so that they couldn't
disagree,
just go straight
right.
to Sharon
But
or whatever.
even so, it just felt so... And again, it's like another case of, there's a planet we have to get to for some tense medical fucking fuck reason. God, fuck this episode.
Yeah, this episode's really bad.
It was also, like, as you said, it was so padded.
Forever.
Yeah.
Exactly. Everything, like every little thing that happened in this episode took 5 times longer than it should have.
Well, like I said, they fucking showed, like, switching over to auxiliaries. Hey, Captain, let's watch Scotty for literally, like, 10 seconds, which in television time is an eternity,
Yeah.
pushing buttons.
But there was some really good stuff. In particular, the things that I liked a lot. See, look at me trying to make gold out of this shit. Shine this turd. Whatever the fucking phrase is. When they were doing the self-destruct sequence thing, I liked some of the camera work they were doing, the close-ups.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't love the state of the teeth on the majority of the people who were reading, but there was some really, I really liked that. I felt really tense.
Yeah, I felt like the the high close-up where you just see, like, the
eyes
eyes and some nose
and
of
then
the
just
two
the
two
teeth.
black and white face
yeah,
guys.
that was really good, too.
With the stripe going right down the middle of your screen. That was cool.
It was great.
The problem with some of those close-ups on the actors, though, was, like I said at one point, they're zoomed in on Doohan's eyes, and he's supposed to be saying something, but because you can see the top of his cheeks, you can tell he's not actually talking, and they ADR'd it later.
Maybe you just got a lot of Botox, you don't know.
And it was just
Maybe
like...
he's also telepathic.
And certainly, like you said, if not exactly the same, very close to the destruct codes they use later in Star Trek 3.
codes.
So that's
not very secure.
No.
Well, is it also
They never
like
change.
voice
It's the
triggers?
voice-
I have to.
Yeah.
I have
It's the
to
voice
change,
print more
I
than
have
the
to
code.
change in my login password in my fucking computer every 3 months at work. But
Yeah.
these motherfuckers have had the same self-destruct sequence
For 20 years.
20 years and a couple of enterprises,
Oh, I
right?
hate
Are they have
those
a new
kind of
enterprise by the
things.
third?
No,
No,
that's when they
that's-
get rid of
Oh,
this enterprise.
damn.
So,
Well,
but at that point, it has gone through
Fake geek girl.
a total refit,
Yeah.
but they didn't bother reprogramming. And apparently, Apparently, Chekhov can just fill in for Spock during it. That's fine.
He helps Spock a lot, so it sort of feels...
actually, that does make sense, I guess.
In a way, like he's sort of like a backup. Like, what if Spock had
I mean,
Vulcan...
It's
cold?
probably just like any 3 command level...
Bridge officers, yeah.
People.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know, one of them went crazy and is all of a sudden, on this
Well,
thing.
you probably also need to have 3 separate people. Like, Kirk couldn't do all...
But what if Kirk and Spock or let's just say Chekhov and Sulu are mutinying and have like somehow taken I'll say Uhura hostage. I'm sorry, Uhura, I didn't mean to. That sounds racist and sexist. They could blow up the ship just for no fucking reason.
The other one that I loved the idea of, but didn't really love the execution of. I liked at the end where the guys were having their little run around through the halls. So I didn't love the run around. Don't look at me like that, Ames.
I am gonna judge you.
No, I'm looking at
harshly.
you that way. Yeah, I know. No, but I liked the idea of them chasing themselves, but also being chased by like the torment and like the. I think they executed it.
But you hated the alternative
poorly.
factor with Lazarus doing the same fucking thing.
Well, I liked this better, I guess. I don't know.
I
liked the idea of them being faced with the atrocities that they brought upon themselves because of their fucking ridiculous hatred.
Yeah, the idea was solid, but the execution was...
Oh, that's what I'm saying. The execution
terrible.
was bad.
First of all, because they're both running like idiots.
Yeah. It was like they'd never run in their lives.
It was like they were running at the end of one of those Iron Man races. Well, I don't think it's called Iron Man race, but this one of
I
those.
know what you mean.
Yeah, those
weird.
races where you literally run for like days on end until the end, where your legs are practically falling off your body and you're staggering towards the finish line.
You know what? This
and
is
shitting your pants constantly.
Nothing to do with anything, but I don't care.
We'd see it through those pants, though.
I always get annoyed because there's that one either Iron Man or Tough Mudder or something race where the logo looks a lot like the logo for the Monarch from the Venture Brothers. And I keep seeing people with the t-shirts, and for a minute I think, oh, they've got a cool Venture Brothers t-shirt. Nope, it's some fucking athletic thing. Fuck off with your making me happy about the Venture Brothers, but then it's a lie.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah, get a new logo.
Yeah, fit people.
You know what logo I don't like?
Nike.
Nike's logo. Because it's just a check mark.
It's pretty
It's
boring.
a swoosh.
Is that what you were actually going to say?
No.
What were you going to say?
I don't know. I was just talking
Way
about
to
Have
start
you
a
been
sentence
drinking
not
again?
knowing where you're going with it.
No,
You know
what I
that-
was going to say is that Beale... So the idea is that Beale has been chasing after Loki for
50,000
years.
Yeah, which no one... When the Riddler says that, like, no one goes like, whoa, you motherfuckers live a while. They're just like, okay, 50,000 of your terrestrial years.
I
Okay.
remember there was that long-lived race on, I forget what fucking planet. What was it? Omega Glory, I think? Where they're like, oh, they live so fucking long. We really want to get, what their genes are and find their secret. Oh,
Yeah.
it's just their genes? Fuck.
Yeah, but even though, that thing, though, they were still kind of surprised. Like this, none of them bat an eye. They're like, oh, you look good. Don't look a day over 40.
So
1,000 years old.
You might say that Loki was Beale's white whale, or black and white whale.
I bet they really enjoy black and white cookies. Which we call half moons here in New England, but people know them as black and whites.
I was making
A Moby Dick
a
reference.
Moby Dick.
Yeah, I'm familiar with them. I'm
I
familiar
get it
with.
now.
Ahab really liked half moon cookies. Okay, asshole.
He loved
That's what I'm saying.
cookies. Oh yeah.
Didn't Patrick Stewart play Captain Ahab in a, made for TNT Moby Dick?
Yeah,
Why
he
would
played
anyone
he
make
played
that
Captain
into a-
Ahab in Star Trek: First Contact.
That too.
Oh, we had the zoom in on the red alert.
Oh my
God.
god, what was with that?
Yeah, that was weird.
It was even worse than Fish Island's crazy.
I
This
wanted
was trying to make us
doing
vomit.
it.
This was trying to make us puke, I think, is what it was.
I wanted
the
it to
episode
make
was
the
already
sound.
effective in
I
that
wanted
way.
it to have the sound effect when the bride gets upset.
Oh,
in-
that little musical sting.
Yeah. Wee, wee, wee,
Yeah.
wee, wee.
From Kill Bill.
Yeah.
that's
Which
great.
I think, of course, is from some other movie,
Yeah.
which had a similar... Oh, I think it might have
I
been
gotta
from...
rewatch Kill Bill.
I want
I
to
don't
say
even remember
Death
that
Rides
at
a
all.
Horse,
Like,
actually.
every time she's gonna kill somebody or she gets angry, it makes that effect.
I mean, I
I've
don't know
only
if
seen
the...
it once, and it was many
I
months
don't know
ago.
if the music is from Death Rides a Horse, but the, camera trickery in the color is, so the music probably is too. Yeah, no, and it's actually, Jake had said, in the first episode you made a Wayne's World joke because of Lord Garth.
Yes.
And then you've got the sort of, the weird extreme zoom in, zoom out thing that was also from the Wayne's World sketch, so there was a weird commonality, albeit unintended since it was 20 odd years too
in the
early.
future, right?
That's where they got it from.
Yeah, maybe. It's all been a lengthy Star Trek joke.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, no, I mean, that was really a nothing happening episode.
Yeah.
It was very direct. Like, they even admitted, I read on fucking cat.
More interesting than anything that happened in the episode.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, duh. There was an element of danger and surprise just now.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I did read on Memory Alpha that they knew that the script was fucking too short, and that's why they made that chase scene so long, and that's why they introduced all this stuff. And the director was so proud of himself for doing that for the chase. And I'm like, God, no, that's not. The answer is have a better script, not just find a arty way to pad it that, shoves your meaning down someone's throat.
But you know what both of these episodes had? Moments where I said touch dicks.
So many times.
Yeah,
I cannot believe. So they, again, last episode, went out of their way. We saw plenty of Marta.
Copious packages.
But still no navel, again. But we saw all kinds of bulge this episode.
Yeah.
Bulge is fine. Fucking...
and not just bulge,
there.
like outline of ball sack. Like, this was not...
I mean, I'm pretty sure at one point, Frank Gorshin had a semi.
No.
There's one bit, honest. I'm not even kidding. There is one moment where you see him at profile, and it's like a little.
Oh, we have to rewatch the episode now.
No, we don't.
Not do it.
I want to see Frank Gorshin's boner.
No,
That would be one way to figure out if there was intentionally an Israel reference in the episode.
Oh my God! You
My
sound like Home
circumcision
Alone.
joke went over
You sound
well.
you sound like.
No, it didn't.
That's
What's his
the
name?
second time in this program you've accused me of sounding like that.
Well,
man.
you fucking just sounded like him. Keep the change, you filthy animal. Didn't he? Does he
I don't know.
Oh, come on. But what I was gonna say was, even though circumcision is currently in the decline in our country, back in the day that was kind of the
was very
norm.
common,
So
yeah.
I mean. But your joke was still funny.
Yeah, exactly.
I liked the joke.
It was
I did like the joke.
It was a good joke.
I laughed at it.
I like that.
Could have used more Doc in this episode.
Yeah.
Was Doc even in this episode?
He did one
was in
weird
it a little.
thing. He did a weird thing where they were talking about, they have the guy, and they specifically tell Doc, we don't know what his physiology is like, yet you're pumping him full of all your toxins and
Potions,
potions
Spock
and
says.
stuff. And Doc goes on and says something weird. He's like, blood is blood, whether it's green or red or whatever. It's like, no, that's
I
not
don't
how
think
it
that's
works.
even true of
That's
blood
not
of the
how
same
it
color.
works. You can't just put any blood in any person. You can't just do anything to any person. You have to test what their allergies are.
but guys-
you have to know
There's
this
also
and that.
blood types.
But guys, that's what it all comes down to with racism, isn't it? If you cut us, do we not bleed? That's what Doc was getting at.
Yeah,
Bleed
is
green
blood.
blood.
Not just
though.
that he's a bad doctor.
Doc, you're kind of terrible.
Yeah, you were mad on
If it weren't the future,
unethical last episode.
and medical practice was literally press a button, you'd be shit.
It's probably true.
I love you to death, Doc.
I mean,
but-
he did admit he had done more tests than Spock was giving him credit for. He's like,
When-
all the organs were there, just mixed around a little.
And
a
something
few
he had never
extras.
seen before, which is gives me pause.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe in the future, because of advances in science, being a doctor is like a zero skill position, and it's like the job that you take in the service when you just want to go out in the galaxy.
But he didn't want to go out in the
Well, that's what's
galaxy.
weird. Why is he the doctor? Because here's the thing: whenever he's had to do actual doctoring work, he's pretty lost. When he had to reattach Spock's
Say, that's
brain,
like the one time.
Well, he's
he
got,
did that- he
he's
did
got
that-
a lot of research stuff, though. He's
That's
really
true.
good at finding the cure to things.
Yeah.
That's
And also
true.
he
he's
did-
a good chemist.
Yeah, he did that very delicate surgery on Sarek while the ship was getting tossed hither and thither, and
Hither and thither. And yawn. Hither and yawn.
he figured out that, the way to fix super aging was because adrenaline.
He figured out how tribbles reproduce.
Yeah, bisexually.
Yes.
So he didn't figure out how to
Not at all. They bud.
So on Sharon.
Where everything is still on fire.
Literally on fire.
But let's just, like, prior to the great fires. Prior to the great catastrophe.
Well, being fair, I don't think Spock says everything's still on fire. I think it's just the two of them.
No, but you can see that it's still on fire from space. It looked like it was actually actively burning.
Yeah, true. But we watched... That was the Netflix version. The original probably didn't have that. It made it look like Coruscant, really.
Well, anyway, Jake, go on.
Sorry, yeah.
Do you think there are doctors who specialize in treating cancers of both the right and the left, like skin cancer? Because, there's like, on one half of them is like melanin. All melanin. It's like 100%. And the other half, there's nothing. It's like,
well, they could live
more like the white as it can go.
The rays of the sun on their planet might not be damaging. Skin cancer might not even be a thing.
Could be.
But I would guess that the way you treat skin cancer is the same regardless of whether you're black or white.
Wasn't there a comment that they also heal super quick? I'm sure
they have apartheid on this planet. Like, I'm sure the doctors that treat...
You think there's some separate but equal doctors?
I'm guessing.
Quote unquote.
If they're as racist as they
seem. There's probably... Well, and for that matter, then the white on the right, they probably don't even have doctors. They're probably just like, well, good, they'll die then. One less white on the right.
And, Ames, to answer your question, yeah, Bones does mention that his recuperative powers are startlingly good.
That's good.
Probably partly explains how these bastards live so long.
Yeah, I was going to say, it'd have to be if you live 50,000 years.
And they can apparently just mentally control starships, or just zap them, and they also have personal force fields. What the fuck?
The personal force field was cool.
Fucking species.
And they fly invisible ships.
Yeah, no.
Just like Wonder Woman.
Wait, so what happened to Beale's ship? Did he...
disintegrated.
It disintegrated. Look, why? Did he do that on purpose? Was he an idiot?
Well, I think he said it was kind of getting to the end of its... Well, I think it was getting to the end of its life anyway.
The ship?
Yeah.
The 50,000-year-old ship?
I mean, God knows how old that specific ship was.
He didn't apparently have a plan.
The plan just seemed to be get on board the Enterprise because he somehow knew Loki was there.
What is their species?
Do they give them a name?
The Sharonas.
There you go.
When a Sharona drives a car into the ground, they really drive a car into the ground.
Yeah, that's right. Beale showed up and was like, my Sharona! And Kirk was like, no,
nice.
My Sharona.
Nice. I did make a comment that Pinwheel Monster from that Klingon episode.
Oh, he'd love these guys.
Love them. Because they're angry all the time.
They wouldn't even need her. They should have just, found him. They're like, hey, Pinwheel guy. How about instead of terrorizing starships, you go chill with these fellas. They'll love you.
You sort of sound like you're doing a Sulu impression and a Shatner impression.
And a Zap Brannigan.
Yeah, that was actually a disaster of epic proportions, but still.
That's fine. I like it.
Sexlexia.
I feel like you actually see at some point in the background of a Futurama, more than once probably, but I feel like you got a couple of the...
black and white type aliens?
Yeah.
Isn't there also a Babylon 5 episode where there's you're red and you're blue and therefore we are fighting each other?
I have never seen Babylon 5.
I feel like I've seen 10 minutes of one episode and it was that episode.
I don't know.
You know, Walter Koenig had a semi-recurring supporting role on Babylon 5.
Did he?
Yeah.
He also had a semi-recurring supporting role on Star Trek.
He also had a semi-recurring boner on the bridge, just like Frank Gershon.
Thank you, Caleb, for the boner.
You're welcome, Jake.
Can we wrap this one up? Because
always happy to give you my boner.
Yeah, it was astounding how bad it was.
We were just bored to tears.
Yeah, there was just nothing.
We were looking at the cats. We were playing with our phones.
The cat played with the mouse at one point. That was amazing.
That was great. See, what we're doing now is we're padding this episode the way that they did.
How
about
we
that
just
episode.
do this? How about we stop talking? You insert 10 or 15 minutes of silence in post-production, and then we'll record the ending.
No, we'll do. I'll record myself going. Like I'm jogging for 10 minutes.
That sounds perfect.
And I'll occasionally just go, my home!
Sounds good.
Oh, God. This has been episode 36 of Stardust Era by possibly our saddest episode.
Sad trombone.
I feel like we've had other episodes where we didn't like either of the episodes that still we were less sad.
Because those episodes piss us off. These ones are just soul-crushing.
I mean, I actually found the first one entertaining.
I did too.
Good,
the second one was so
But there wasn't much to talk about because it was mostly just entertaining and otherwise kind of dopey.
It's all very surface.
Yeah.
And not very good.
Very surface, yet the surface of all these planets are poisonous, much like these episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So please join us next week for the hopefully better The Mark of Gideon and That Which Survives. Please find and like our Facebook page, Star to Steer Hereby. We are on Twitter and Tumblr as SSHB Podcast. And do please subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting application. And if you use iTunes, think about please giving us a rate and review. So, as always, I have been Chris.
I have been Ames.
I have been Caitlin.
Party on, Garth.
Thank you for listening.
Be sure to tip your yeoman.
My home. Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By. A Star Trek. Ugh. Nope.
Easy for you to say.
It's not.